They say don't drink in studio when you're a radio DJ. Don't bring no forms of minerals, whatever. But in this studio, anything goes because we're trying to get the truth. Welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. It's DJ Sabby, one time the best than ever. This right here, we got a name for it. I'm so happy to tell you. This is called Behind the Mic, where we hang out with some of my favorite radio DJs. And just to find out their journey, man, how it's been. Shout out to everyone that's been tweeting, showing us love right here on the Best Live TV. Now, I remember the first time I heard this dude I'm about to introduce to you, I was driving. Don't ask me. Okay, I was in Campus Square. Campus Square is in Auckland Park here in Johannesburg. And for some weird reason, I love finding out what's happening on campus radio. So I tune over to 95.4, which you'll find a UJ platform. And this is where the kids do their thing, and they're amazing. It was drive time. And here's this dude who is just clean. He went by the name of Lusky, and he joins me in studio, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the famous seat, brother.
DJ Sabby.
You good?
I'm good, brother, man. How are you?
I'm nice, man.
Good to see you, man.
Great seeing you. Like, Lusky used to be bigger size than me, man. And now you looking good, bro.
Thank you, my brother. You look amazing yourself, man.
Thank you, man. Sabby said it the other day. He's like, Lusky, Emile Ngoku. Yeah!
Emile Ngoku.
It's like, even with the beard, everything.
I must vakashela Sabby. It's time.
I mean, like, you're looking good, dog. Life is good. What's going on?
Thank you, brother. No, it's the answer you don't want to hear, you know.
Yeah.
Eating better, taking better care of oneself. That's what it is, brother.
Yeah.
So, exercise routines, etc., etc. You know, I had to take a holistic approach to this health thing.
Yeah.
And it had to start with food, and that's how all the pounds, kilograms in this country, were shed off.
Amazing stuff, man. You're looking amazing. You still sound great.
Thanks, man.
You can catch Lusky on 947 between 6 and 10, yeah?
6 and 10. No, 7 and 10.
7 and 10.
Saturday and Sunday.
We'll talk about that. Let's throw it all the way back. When did this thing start for you, man, that you want to be behind this thing?
Oof. It started in Davidson, brother.
Yeah.
Listening to the likes of DJ Spoo. And I remember I had a computer, and I would have Windows Media Player and Winamp. Do you remember Winamp?
I remember Winamp.
And then you play this one song here.
Yeah.
And then you come in and you back announce and you rock a song on Winamp. You know, I don't know, there's something about radio and the way that these guys were able to communicate to the soul almost, you know? And there was something about YFM, you know, and the giants that held those spaces. So that's truly where it started. Did the typical leave school, leave high school, and go to whatever random course it was. I remember I was going to do HR. Took a taxi to Pretoria to go apply for HR. And then at some gate, I think it was Boston Media, not Boston Media, Boston in Arcadia. I bump into a flyer that's written sound engineering. I'm like, this is up my stream. You know, I love music, I love radio. So let me try that. Long story short, did sound engineering in Boston. It was an impromptu decision. Loved it. One of my lecturers taught me how to make radio sounds, and started doing that. Started recording myself,
and you like what you're hearing.
Yeah, I'm like, this thing makes sense.
Yeah,
you know. And I think where it hit me the most, I gave the recording to my late mother. You know, and she was just playing it to everyone. Listen to my son. Listen to this. Listen to this. And I was like, this is what I have to do. I love this thing, and this is something that I have to do. And I suppose that's where the fire really started, and the hard work then ensued after.
So then you pick up at that point in time, okay, cool, this is what I want to do.
Sure.
Then what was next? Like, did you even know where your starting point was? Who do I take this thing to? Who do I call up? Where do I go?
I had no idea, brother. So what I did is, you do the typical.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford university, so I never went to university. So you try the UJs, and you try at the time I was in Pretoria, so I tried TUT, Tops FM. He told me, now you have to be a student to do this thing. So I told myself, okay, I'm going to use the skills then. The radio skills. And I put together, before podcasts were podcasts, I put together an hour-long radio show with my now fiance. She'll be doing news.
Oh, congrats, man.
Thank you, brother.
You finally tied it up? Hey!
That's what it is, man.
Yeah?
And a few friends, you know? And we'd sit in a small room, one microphone, and just talk. We used to call it All About Everything, young, aware, and opinionated.
Yeah.
So we rock our opinions, etc., etc. We got to episode 10, and obviously it was only 2 friends and family members who listened to it, but it sparked everything, man.
Yeah.
Producing that, you spend hours editing, etc., etc. So that was the beginning, and then I took that after some time, an excerpt of that, and sent it to UJFM, and they called me up, and the rest was history.
And your starting show at UJ, what did they hook you up with?
They gave me, it was 2 of us starting, 3. No, it was 4, 5. So it was a whole lot of presenters.
Yeah.
We sat in Studio B, and we told, okay, you guys are starting your shows very soon. I think mine was 1 to 4 a.m. in the weekend.
Jeez.
Right? And I think we're all starting in the same weekend. And then I went on, man, and I remember it just clicked. It made sense. Like having sex for the first time.
Yeah.
You know?
You knew why I had
like,
to. Yeah.
This thing makes sense. And I remember, her name is Katleo. She used to do news at UJ. She came in and she's like, how long have you been doing this? Like, this is my first show. You know? And that kind of validation from people at the time who were ahead in the industry was telling. You know, so I figure this is it. And that was the first show, nerve-wracking and exciting for the most part. I always say, I love the jobs that I've had in radio, but I always say the most exciting time I've had in radio was probably on campus radio.
Why is that? Would you say like campus radio for you had less restrictions? Because there's several dudes, you know what I mean, especially on community radio where guys will do that show for years, end up becoming a program manager and still have a young show going on. They have no ambitions of leaving that station because of a sense of comfort. You know, in your end, what would you say made your campus years amazing?
It's probably that. It's probably the fact that it was less restrictions. You get to commercial radio and you start to learn that this is commercial radio, you know, no child's play. But also the novelty. I was new to it. You know, I'm just a boy from a Davidson. And the best I expected for myself is to be a manager as a captain. You know what I mean? So to be at UJFM, I remember taking the train each and every day and having to walk long distances. But to do that as a job was just insane for me. So it could be just because of the fact that it was new at the time and I never expected it to happen. For me to switch on the microphone and say, yo, this is Lusky, welcome to the show. Crazy. So I think that has to be the reason why it may have been some of the best years in radio.
Now, most people come on radio, they have, you know, these names that you're going to put on. You know, the name Lusky is very unique. It's different. Like, was that a name that you had come up with? Is that your real name? What's the story behind that?
Lusky. Insane story. You know how you grow up and you always want a nickname? My name is Lusanda.
Damn.
So I felt like, come on, I need a nickname.
Something cool.
All my niggas got nicknames. So nothing stuck. And a friend of mine just called me Lusky once. And I hated it for the longest time. And it stuck and I just went by Lusky.
Ran with Lusky. So Lusky now is at UJ, you got a show, you move up. I'll never forget when I heard you. Now the thing about your voice, right, is it's distinctive, but at the same time your vocab is... You got a very wide vocab, and we'll get to the time when you joined YFM in the sense of where I think you really started shining and showing off that you read. You know, how often would you say you read? Because you articulate yourself pretty well. You don't use common words on the radio, which sometimes it's a great thing when you listen on the radio. A guy will drop a word, you're like, oh, I should Google this dictionary, like. And you know those. I think that's how we also learned English through radio and learn language.
Absolutely.
You know, through DJs that will introduce new words and will take your vocab to the next level.
Absolutely.
Would you say that you're a guy that read a lot? Because on air it sounds like
it's weird, man, and I'm honored by that compliment because I've never really been the smart guy. You know what I mean? From high school, tertiary, but I made an effort. I remember making that effort even before radio. That, you know what, I want to read a little more, and I hate it. I hate to read, but I understood where it could take me. You know, I understood that it could stretch my mind, etc., etc. And I also understood that I'm in communications, so I must be able to speak with confidence at the very least. So even now, I try to read at least every day, you know, just mainly to stretch the mind. And of course, there are the benefits of one's vocab expanding, etc., etc. But it's I can't say it's a passion. That's why I'm saying I love the compliment, because it's something I work on.
Yeah.
You know, it's like someone telling you, you've got a great body, and you're like, if only you knew that I have to wake up every day at 4 a.m. to work on this thing. It's the same thing. It doesn't come naturally to me. Maybe it does, you know. And growing up black, one in this country, one maybe doesn't get a chance to truly explore one's intelligence, you know. So I told myself, you know, you're in a different position now in life. Surely you can upskill.
Yeah.
And if there's no money to go to university, no time to go to university, grab a book and read.
Now you're a new Jay. You're on fire. You're rocking. I'm sure you're starting to get compliments from several people around you that says, "Yo, man, maybe you need to start calling up Y. Maybe you need to start calling up this station and that station." When did it hit you that, okay, cool, it's time to jump? It's time for next. And what did you do at that point?
Ooh. I'd say I was comfortable at UJ.
Yeah.
You know, I was really comfortable. I was earning 2.1.
Damn, you guys got paid at UJ?
I got paid for drive, dog. When you did drive, breakfast
Maybe
and drive.
Maybe that's why Nick Express has been there for a while.
Yeah, you got paid. And prior to that, I was working at a CD store where I got paid about 3 point something a month, right? So now I'm doing radio, campus radio, I switch on the microphone. Some of my best rands ever, you know, where I make a whole 2,000 rand, and it felt like we stretched it with my career. Made a whole 2,000 rand from this thing. So I thought my journey with UJ was going to be much longer. I stayed there for like 11 months. So everything was almost really quick. I got contacted by a dude called Tabo, who used to work for YFM. I think it was in sales. It's like, listen, man, you're sounding good. I want to hook you up with Tumelo. And long and short of it, Tumelo gave me a call about 2 weeks later. And you know how the story goes. When you receive an important call, you answer with some bullshit. Who the fuck's this? Chief Tumelo from YFM. Sure.
Did you know who Tumelo was though when he called you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah?
He even asked me, he's like, how? Why is it so much of a pleasure to meet me? There's a famous Tumelo here. I'm like, hey, my dog, I'm a radio guy. You are the famous Tumelo to me. So yeah, I knew who he was. And yeah, so Utabo connected me to Tumelo and had a meeting with Tumelo, quickly gelled.
When did it sink that you're actually meeting up with this Tumelo guy? You in this meeting, he's offering you a weekend show. When did it hit?
Oh my God. It hit me, I remember when I was walking out of YFM.
Yeah.
I had a meeting with Tumelo and he told me, listen, this is what we need from a YFM presenter. This is where we're going to start you. You're going to go to Playground, etc., etc. Cool. So you're saying I'm part of this thing now? Yes, you are. Perfect. And then as I walk out, going to catch my taxi, you do the jump. You know, the jump that you always see on TV. And I remember there was a car passing. This person was looking at me. So I wonder what the hell is happening in this person's life. And it was life-changing for me. Literally, life was about to change. And yeah, I did the celebratory jump, went into the taxi, probably paid extra. I'm a white DJ now. I'm a white DJ now. Yeah, so yeah, that's how it all happened.
Now it boils down to the first show. How was that? Your first show on Y. You know, you've been ready for this moment. You've linked so many times, but now you're linking on the same mic that some of the most iconic names have also linked on and also spoken to the very same audience you're trying to, you know, get your name through them. Dude, you know, how was it for you?
Dude. One of my biggest downfalls is that I can be a lot in my head.
Yeah.
So that was in my head a lot. Like, yeah, you know, this is not UJ. This is YFM now. And this is the very seat that Smoo would sit on. The very seat that Kabzela would sit on.
Yeah.
You gotta make it work, boy. But I think that too gave me the confidence and the courage to make it happen. So the first show, as all first shows are, very shaky. I remember saying UJ's number. 01155 something. I forgot UJ's number.
I was always like, yo, are you gonna say the whole number? Yeah.
You know? But because it was a long time coming, you know, being a YFM presenter for any presenter or aspiring presenter is something you dream of the way a boy dreams of driving.
Yeah.
You know, by the age of 9.
Perfect analogy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was easy, man. I've always wanted to say 011 88 00 992.
Yeah.
I was ready.
Yeah.
You know, But hey, when I got there, you guys changed the number.
That was the original number, before 772.
Yeah. So I think me and YFM just made sense from the first show. Shake as it may have been, we just made sense.
That's an icon. You know what I'm loving about your stories? The organic flow. Because people often feel like, these people just, I say,
Sure.
And would you say at any point in your career there's been that moment which has in shout out to this person, or I rang up someone wrong file? Because I don't have that. I will just say when niggas say yourself, I'm like, nigga, I'm in for
yeah, no, none of that, dog. I've never had any of that. What I'll say though is that very warm arms when I walked into where you were the first person I shadowed,
Yeah.
So it was kick-ass, man. It was you, Tulisa, received me, gave me advice where why is concerned, I can be in my own little shell a lot.
Yeah.
So you guys would, come on,
Relax, dog.
do your thing.
And you were still chubby then, I think that was a chubby boy thing, what I mean? Like, very in your space,
like,
you're
hey,
nervous, man. You're like, oh, fuck, man, I'm at wine number one. These niggas are telling me
you see now
what I need to fix. I haven't even started.
Exactly. So yeah, I can't say I've been given something, but I won't lie and say that the people around me didn't assist in certain aspects of my career. I wouldn't lie and say that.
Your biggest fond memory when you think of the brand YFM, to what you envisioned it to be like, and when you were there part of the station, how would you say those two coexisted in your head?
It was all that and more, hey? But also when I joined, Y was changing. You see, so when you listen to YFM, the institution, that is YFM. When you listen to Y, you hear the Bosparats and the Swoos and the this and the other. And when you get there, you do get elements of that. But I think a lot of the big guns were starting to move out, etc. So my experience of YFM was my experience of YFM. But I can say that many of the things that I did expect were there and more, I remember visiting YFM, I think about a year ago. Year and 6 months. And you still feel the same thing. It's almost like a church, this thing, And I have to say this as a young black person who, for the most part, was not represented in this country. YFM came in 97 and said, yo, listen, we are your voice, And it gave so many of us such confidence. So that's why that space and that logo is almost an institution. So for me, it was all that and more.
When I speak about why, let's say, why gave me an opportunity to find my voice as talent. Why gave me an opportunity to say, this is what I stand for, period. Because it was all about being original. Like, I remember chatting to Flavor. I was like, yo, Flavor, dog. They don't get feedback. How am I sounding? Flavor was like, yo, man, look, I can't give you feedback, man. You just gotta be dope. If you're dope, you'll stay. If you're not dope, you are. But like, and that was a hard part. I'm like, okay, cool. So let out in season, season. And that was a mind fuck for the longest of time. What would you say you then realized during your course, being at Y, the shows that you got, and you grew all the way to Weekday? What would you say you learned about Lusky, what you stand for, and your voice? This is what I represent as a Lusky.
Good question, man. I'd say one thing I learned was the fact that all I wanted to be and want to be is a broadcaster. All the other shit didn't make sense to me. All the colors and the celebrity and all of that, it still doesn't. It didn't resonate with me at the time. It confused me very much. You know what I mean? To a point where, unlike most people, they get into the industry and they are caught by the industry. I was very resistant, maybe to my detriment, but I don't regret that. So I learned to understand who I am, and if there's certain L's that I have to take because of who I am and what I believe in, then so be it. YFM is a young brand that needs young people, energetic, celebrity-like even, and at the time I wasn't even sure I'm capable of offering that, and I soon realized that I actually didn't want to offer that, so yeah, that's the one thing I learned, that I'm not stepping into radio announcer. Radio announcers were gone by then. but I had a radio announcer mentality. I was stepping into the entertainment industry, and I almost wasn't ready for that. So even now, one is still trying to find themselves in that space without losing who you are.
You know, when you talk about, and I like the fact that you bring that up, because y'all are the kind of guys, when I listen on the radio, you're like, yo, this dude is freaking amazing. You're so inclined with everything happening around you in the world. You know, you're a sponge of information. But when I go to your Twitter timeline or your Instagram timeline on Facebook, I don't see that personal life attachment to it. Is it a thing for you in the sense of you don't really fully immerse yourself in the culture? Because you can call any celebrity and say, yo, I'm Lusky from Y or 947, and they're probably going to give you more attention than they'll give to any random person that will call them up. Why haven't you found the need to immerse yourself in the entertainment culture?
Why haven't I found the need to do that? I think, brother, it's because I was busy with other things. I think you get to YFM and Sabby says, yo, Lusky, try this. And your programs manager says, yo, do this and do the other. When it doesn't come naturally to you, it becomes confusing. You know, to a point where you're like, do I really want to do this thing? You know? So I had to almost zoom out as a human being, zoom out from Lusky and step into the universe and look at the world as it is. Look at the country that I was randomly born in. Look at the family I was randomly born in order to learn who I am and how I want to move, right? And I'm still working on that. So maybe I can better answer this question in 2 years and say, no, I was able to find myself and how I want to move in the social media space because there's personal lives as well that I find are far more important than this entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Right, that I had to work on, that I had to fix. I've got a daughter that, you know, I have to make sure does not go through some of the bullshit that we went through.
Yeah.
You know? So you find there's no time and there's no energy for things like that. And I do understand, sometimes to my detriment. So it's one of those things that one is constantly working on that I think I'll have a better answer in 2 years.
When we talk about celebrities, there's a point where this medium we love so much, radio, had celebrities just getting radio jobs. You know what I mean? You're sending demos, you're like, I don't have enough social media followers, and everyone was just saying that radio's going through that era. On your end, would you say we're done with that? Or you feel like there's possibly 1 or 2 people that have these shows because of their followers?
Probably. We're talking about this thing before we went on. And I think your analysis is right. You know, that a lot of people are starting to, social media has given a lot of people a massive voice, which is definitely a shitty thing most of the time, but it's a great thing when it comes to things like these, when you put a famous somebody on the air and you find a tapel or whoever who's going to complain on social media, and a lot of people are going to rally behind the tapel. So I think in the past year or couple of months, radio has started to feel the pressure that, listen, we need talent here. We cannot have, you know, much respect to Casper. We cannot have Casper hosting breakfast just because of followers. So I think I agree with your analysis that we are slowly moving away from that. And I'm glad that that's happening.
It's a must. It's a must. There was a time where I remember, like, there was a time, I'll even use Y as an example. We were chilling on campus. I was still a student at the Misa. I'm like, shit, why had Bonang on? And she proved, you know, Bonang really, really went all the way and proved why she's an amazing talent. We introduced to the twins. They made the most out of the platform. And then you started asking yourself, am I going to get a show on this platform when we're going through this wave of celeb culture? But now when you look at holistically, you know what I mean, in the industry, you know, you look at names like Andy. You know what I mean? I think Andy's freaking amazing.
It's amazing.
You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Which talent would you say when you sit and you drive, you're like, okay, cool, be on the lookout on this person. I think this person has something.
Someone currently on radio right now.
Currently on radio. Possibly we don't even know about.
Been really careless, useless with my radio studies. But let me think about it.
Yeah.
I definitely put Andy there.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. We all know how great and the MVP is. Let me think. Yeah, no, I'd have to stick with those. Also, I have to be honest. working with radio, sometimes when you step into the car, the only thing you want to listen to is a podcast or something else. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
So I've had an unfortunate year or 2 years where I haven't been tuning in much. You know, you just listen to this radio show here because you enjoy it. You listen to the best drive because you're like, okay, I like Sabby. And the Sabby, I haven't seen him in a while, so let me hear his craziness.
Any management stories that when you think about it right now, you're like, this motherfucker honestly had no idea what they wanted from me.
Sabby, you know I can't keep my mouth shut.
Come on, let's have a drink, have water. Should we pour you something?
Let me have a drink before I tell you.
Okay, I guess there is a story about that.
No, I'm kidding, dog.
Yeah. You had great relationships with all these managers?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My first radio manager, YFM manager, Tumelo. Amazing relationship with him. Damn near mentor, you know what I mean? And then, in hindsight, progression and growth happened. When it was happening to me at the time, I felt victimized and I felt angry, you know? But you learn that it's the journey of most radio presenters. And you learn that human beings are always going to be in charge of things. I remember, I always tell the story about how I would tell, he was a buyer. I used to work for music. And he was a music buyer. And I tell him all the time, he would listen to new albums and give them to me because he knew I was interested in music and analyzing music. And he'd say, but don't go into that industry. It's messed up. It's whatever. And the advice that they always give you, like, come on, man. And then you realize that, oh no. The problem is we've got this gold that is art, be it music, television, radio. But we've got Sabby with his ego. Maybe not even passion for that particular thing, who now has the power to run this motherfucker. So now I understand what he meant when he said, "Now it's a crazy world, it's a crazy industry. You will sometimes make a loss when you should have won because someone doesn't like you. You change your haircut, you bought a new car, you bought a house. You know what I mean? In hindsight, I understand it that way now, and I see it as part of my journey. But yes, I did have crazy management stories. You know, the typical. Numbers are great, and you have a meeting, and you told some bullshit. You know, and we always walk around pretending like we know some shit. I know my worth, whatever. Personally, I didn't. Again, I'm just a kid from a Davidson who's supposedly a talented radio presenter. But it hit me at the time. I was like, nah, man. You know? I know if my parents were around, they'd tell me, no, hold on, Begazela. And I was like, nah, this is not it. So I did have a crazy management story. I don't know, I wouldn't want to put the brother's name out there. Also, that's his journey, you know, his life story and shit.
But you know, like, so Corridor, right? So you did 6 to 9 at the time at Y.
Sure.
Which was an amazing show, man. Like, you were bringing in a great energy, bro. You had a poem before every YTKO.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would tell my girl, I'm like, wait, babe. This dude, dog, 5 days a week, you had a poem. Roses are red, violets are blue, and you would have them like, wow.
It's crazy.
That's a lot.
It's insane.
You know what I mean? Would you freestyle those? Were you making them up on the go? Like, because then it just didn't add up. I'm not going to lie. The way you left, why? We all like, huh? You left. Tulisa left. MVP left. Mansui left. I was like, yeah, man. So when you start cutting out what seems like the future stems and branches and solid roots of this thing, they just leave. And how you guys all left, it seemed like y'all were just saying,
peace.
We out. You know what I mean? Y'all deal with this nonsense. What would you say your main reason for saying F this thing, I'm out?
I think self-worth hit me. I remember at the meeting and I went into the car and then I called my girl. I was like, listen, I know you're going to tell me to do the right thing, but this is the decision I've made. Because I'm blessed to have sat with this person for about consistently 2-3 months with brand new campaigns. I remember you guys were clowning me that I was doing a men's clinic campaign.
I remember that campaign. Because men's clinic has been for the longest of time known as a brand that helps guys that can't be strong enough.
So it was like, hey, come on. But all of that was happening. And almost literally the next day, you're called into the office and you're told, listen, we might have to move you to this particular time slot.
Tell me it's not true that they wanted to move you to 12 to 3. That's what I heard on the ground. Apparently,
I'm trying to remember the time slot.
Apparently, you and Mansui were going to be a graveyard slot.
Yeah, it was grave.
Fuck.
It was grave. I'm trying to remember if it was 12 to 3 or 3 to 6.
Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
Try that.
Yeah, I was like, nah.
I was like, nah.
Listen, I would understand, and it's exactly what I said to my now managers, that I'd understand if I'd have to have integrity and be like, listen, the numbers were not good.
That's like someone saying,
I wasn't focusing.
Yeah, because the numbers were great. That's like someone saying that, Yazincho, it's either you're jumping or you leave. You know what I mean? And even if you did jump and you took that, then obviously they're going to treat you as a pawn for the longest of time. Fuck. I thought it was all a lie on the ground. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, no, it was that situation. And I was like, nah, we'll see what happens, but this decision I have to make. And
when you look back and you because I still feel to this day that you are possibly going to be doing what I'm doing right now on Drive, possibly even doing breakfast or even doing lunch, where you're part of a solid, PSL, starting lineup for the YFM platform. When you look back, do you sometimes ask yourself, what would have happened if?
No, I don't. I don't, because I understand that my journey is the way it's supposed to be. So I don't. One does reminisce, think about YFM a lot. I don't think about what could have been.
Okay.
No, not at all. I think about the times that I spent there and how much I really appreciate them. And they made me the presenter that I am today. But there are no regrets in that regard. Would I have loved to stay longer? Absolutely. Absolutely. To build the years at Y. I think we both influenced by similar people, to build solid years at YFM, etc., etc. I would have loved to do that.
Let's talk about those people before we skip this YFM journey. People that, I know Spools comes top of mind, people that really made this YFM radio dream seem possible and real for you, and you looked up to them.
To this day, the likes of Fresh, man. When you ask me the foolish question of who do you think is the best radio presenter in the world, I'll tell you unequivocally DJ Fresh, without a doubt, right? Smooth, what an impact he made. What an astute human being that is, I don't think we...
See what I mean? It's astute, what? I can't astute.
Astute human being. No, man. Smart guy, I think what we have in Smooth is Charlemagne times 10, but we never appreciate our own.
Facts.
We never appreciate our own. So the likes of Bad Boy T, Bad Boy T, and Sansa, that show was just incredible, brother. Mac G, I remember sitting in Davidson calling Mac G's show and he picked up.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Because if you call a radio station, you don't think they're going to pick up.
That they're going to pick up. So yeah, the likes of those, man, those people spoke to me.
Yeah.
Those people were friends. Those people were confidants, They made black life, make sense. And they gave me confidence. That's another thing. They went on air and they were unafraid to be themselves. They sounded educated. They sounded wild and radical. I absolutely love that.
Now, you leave this brand, YFM 992. And now you got to focus on what's next. Why 947? Was that your first option? Did they ring you up? How did that happen?
I'd spoken to 5FM, and then I don't know what happened with that. And I'm guessing it was for the better. And then it was such a simple little thing. I sent Ravi an email, and he's known for not replying to emails. And then he just gave me a call. He's like, yo, let's have a conversation. And drove there, all the way from the East Rand. I bought a house at the time. Drove there. I think I made it there in 20 minutes. And it's about a 40-minute journey. Sat in there in the office with Ravi, and he says to me, yo, I listened to your stuff. You sound great. When can you start?
Oh. Damn.
I'm like, that's it? And they, what did you expect? He asked me what you did. I'm like, I'm expecting run around.
Yeah.
We'll call you. You know, and that happened and magic soon after. Magic soon after. So 947, I chose 947, 947
chose you. Yeah. Oh, you love Jovic. Jovic loves you.
Chesa! Have
to. and what would you say was different? Now you're part of 947, you're doing this thing on this platform. Apparently, links have to be short term, not really opinionated driven. What would you say was different for you?
Being in a radio studio, that felt familiar. It was great. But what was different, I won't lie, the mental difference of who am I broadcasting to now. See, my comfort zone was easy. I just speak to Umchita, no baby girl somewhere. Now, we obviously all have to lose this mentality of, oh, fuck, now I gotta speak to white people. You know what I mean? And you walk in there with that mentality, and I think for most of us, it does stifle the way you move sometimes within that space. But what was certainly different has to be the music. First and foremost. I remember when Tony B left, that's the first thing that you guys teased about. That no more this, no more that. But the music was different. Other than that, there isn't much difference. Not much difference. Links are shorter. I think links generally should be shorter.
They should be, especially on the music station.
You know what I mean? But not much of a difference. Not much of a difference at all. It was just the mentality of who am I talking to now?
Yeah.
And then you just have to remember that you're a broadcaster. Just do what you gotta do. Just broadcast. And those that like you, they like you for you. I remember Tulisa gave me one of the best radio gems. He's like, listen, you're gonna start your radio show, a lot of people are gonna leave. And you're gonna build your own people.
That's true.
That's the long and short of it. And I had to remember, that approach with 947. That listen, I need to give them who I am. I can't change it. I can't fake it. I need to give them who I am.
I'm sure it was cool though when you pick up a call one day, then there's a Samantha Janika that picks up the phone. You're like, oh, okay. There's people like you that listen.
Hey, I'm hoping that they had a similar reaction. Like,
a brother.
I'm about to talk to a brother. You know what I'm saying?
This is amazing, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I've always thought you're freaking amazing. To this day, when I listen to you and Hulisani, I'm like, it had to happen. It's just, it took long, but you know what they say, God is the biggest program manager. He knows how everything's gonna play out. But how's Weekend Breakfast going?
It's incredible, man. Ooh. Firstly, I think we work with one of the sharpest minds in radio. Grant Nash is incredible.
Oh. Shout out Grant. We haven't worked together as yet, but I think you're amazing, bro.
Oh, you have to, bro. So it makes everything easy. He pushes us. We have a meeting tomorrow. We have to answer to a billion things. You know what I mean? So he pushes us. He understands exactly what he wants. He's professional, super intelligent. And then my co-host, professional, very experienced, hard worker, an all-round great human being. So it off air, everything is great. So on air, that's why we're able to at least try to deliver fire. Every radio show is constantly growing, and we're constantly growing ours. Like I was saying to you, that it is a challenge. It was a challenge starting out mentally more so, because as a radio presenter, you're used to the solo thing, right? I've never been Lusky and, you know what I mean? It's always just been the show with Lusky. You see, so that was the minor challenge. It was a mental challenge, but we are both professionals, and we made it work. We're enjoying the show. We love to grow the show, and we're hoping for bigger and greater things. You know what I'm saying?
And I know that the stereotype that comes with radio stations in South Africa, it's still there. Why Abodaki, 947, Abongambla, 5 Abongambla. Would you say that is still a thing?
No.
When you look at your numbers and you listen to your listeners?
Absolutely not. I mean, most of the interaction we have are our black listeners. And the best survey to check this thing out, we did Joburg Day, I think 2 weekends ago. There were black and white people in front of the stage singing to Matthew Mole. When Matthew Mole was done, black and white people jamming to TKZ. So we've got a lot of problems in this country, politically, etc. A lot of things that piss me off. But a brand like 947 is able to insert itself and say, listen, we're not going to partake in the politics, but what we can do is push social cohesion the best way we know how to, through music, through the love of Joburg. And when you see things like that happening in the form of Huawei Joburg Day, you know, that you see the proof of what they're trying to do. You're like, hey, it's working. So no, absolutely none of that.
For a young jock checking this out, man, you know, we're living in an era where people are saying radio's dying, and they still want to get into this media, man, and express themselves and share their opinions and interact with the people, make people's days better. What would you tell that young person that still wants to do this thing?
The part of me doesn't want to give them anything. Yeah. Because when we were coming up, we didn't have these platforms. I would have chowed this up, brother.
Yeah.
You know? But in all fairness and realness, I'd say, geez, man, radio is a crazy institution. You know? Study it, learn it, understand it.
Yeah.
I became a student of radio. I would sit waiting for my girl to do her VOW FM bulletins. I'd sit at the McDonald's and read ebooks. Each and every single thing that I could find. In the world of social media, people don't know how to hone crafts anymore. So if you want to stand out, hone the craft. You know, understand it, read up on it, watch a few podcasts. There's YouTube these days. And most importantly, radio is about your personality. Don't make the mistakes that we made. As you are working on your radio journey, work on yourself as well. So that you're not shaken by any of the bullshit that radio has to offer. So that's what I'd say, and it's possible.
Yeah.
It's extremely possible. Just work hard, work on yourself, and just kick ass.
Common question I like to ask everyone of my guests before I let you go. Who would you like to say thank you to? And who would you like to say I'm sorry to?
Ooh.
With your radio journey.
With my radio journey. Thank you to my parents, man. I.e. my mother and grandmother. You know? And I'm sure we all share similar stories because we're boys and we're loud, and they allow you to be that and do that. They're like, do you, boy? We don't know where this thing is going, but go ahead and do you. My mom was my biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
You know, from nothing. So I'd on a platform like this, I'd like to say thanks to those two human beings. And who am I saying I'm sorry to? Let me think about it.
Maybe you did things that you were not supposed to do. Maybe you said something on the radio, but your girl didn't understand it was content. It wasn't really real.
Yeah.
Maybe it was someone who believed in you for the longest of time, and at some point you felt like I could have let them down.
Yeah. Jeez, man. I've got this one, but I'm not sure if... Fuck it, I'm gonna share it. Maybe I'd want to say I'm sorry to one of my managers, my current managers, Ravi, you know. There's a lot of shit that happened around the time, a lot of personal shit around the time when I was joining 947. So there may have been uncommunicated misunderstandings between he and I. Yeah, so that would be a regrettable little moment. But like I always say, there's really nothing to... I had to go through what I had to go through. And I'm still learning from it, and I'm still, etc., etc. But there was that phase. I think I joined 947 in 2016. And 2017, 18, mainly 17, was kind of shaky because of my personal life as well. Yeah.
Shout out, bro. Thank you very much for coming.
Big ups, dog.
Thank you.
Much love, my G.
Where can people catch you? Let's promo the show quick fast.
Cool stuff. At Lusky DJ. Let me wipe these things. Oh, gosh, the lights. At Lusky DJ on social media. Otherwise, it's 947 Weekend Breakfast from 7 to 10 with Hulisani Ravele on 947.
Yo, man, this guy is radio, guys. Like, you know, he is clean. At the same time, he's witty. But if your understanding of several things happening in and around are just not what you're inclined to or what you're really grasping, the jokes will go over your head. Lusky, one time, thank you once again for coming.
Thank you, brother.
I think you're freaking amazing. Let me know who would you like me to bring here. But remember, it's jokes I like. Who knows? I might just bring a joke you like on this very chair, right here on Behind the Mic. Take care of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe so you know which episode is coming through and who's coming through next. That's what's up. The best live TV, yeah.